There we go. That's my people. That's where we're at. You know, not to brag, you guys, but I actually lost 50 pounds. Thank you. 10 years ago. But I love to say it. I gained it all back since, but man, it was great. I should start off with this. I am a millennial, and I am sorry. I know you all hate us, and I apologize. I'm sorry for introducing gluten into your life. And gluten-free, that was us. I'm sorry for everything you claim we've done to you. Which is ironic because you also claim we haven't done anything. So, make up your mind. Where are my millennials? Raise your avocado toast at me. Yes, there we go. There we go. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to make fun of you tonight. We're friends. We're still on tomorrow at brunch, okay? It's going to happen. I actually love my generation. The problem is we have a bad reputation because you guys think that we get easily offended and we cry too much, and that just makes me feel like you're not listening to my truth. I feel like when I started to cry, you got a little uncomfortable there, sir. You're Gen X, that's my dad's generation. That's right, that's because you guys get uncomfortable because you don't know how to cry. That's the thing that's true. Gen Xers, they don't know how to cry. My dad, I've never seen the man cry. But Gen X, this is the 80s loving music. You guys, right? You do not know how to cry, but you are the best snackers in the entire world. It's very true. Gen X will spend more money on high-brand snacks than any other generation in the world. I could watch my dad lose everything, and I could hang out with him at night, and I would not see a tear fall from his face. But I would see him eat a Girl Scout cookie. It's true. And you need people like that in your life. This is why all of us generations need to go together, because I'm not going to spend that kind of money on my own stuff. I got to pay the electric bill, all right? I'm not doing high-brand snacks. I need my dad for Boar's Head, okay? I need him for that. That's Gen X. Oh, and if you're trying to figure out what generation, if you're Gen X, ask yourself this question. Do you have snacks in your bedroom? Yeah, if the answer is yes, you love 80s music, and you are Gen X. It's crazy. Gen Xers are the best snackers. Gen Zers, that's the generation under me, worst snackers. Never ask a Gen Z to go in the kitchen and get you a snack. Because they'll be gone for an hour, they'll be too busy trying to make a YouTube tutorial. It's ridiculous. Are there any Gen Zs in the crowd tonight? Just 2 of you? And how many? You raise your hands all polite. 3 of you back there? So that's a total of 5? Great, let's talk about them, okay? They can't fight me. There's only 5 of them. You guys could probably cancel me, but you can't fight me. I'm willing. Here, we're going to talk about Gen Zs, okay? Gen Zers are the meanest generation in the entire world. Meanest group of people. Okay? If Gen Z, and I love it, Gen Zs, you guys just applauded. They were like, yes, we're so mean. Good luck. If Gen Zs were an animal, I think we would all agree, they would be Chihuahua. It's true, because Chihuahuas are really nice to other Chihuahuas. The moment you walk by, they want to bite your head off for no reason. I don't get it with that generation. And you know, the thing is, Gen Zs, man, they confuse all of us and they intimidate us even more than millennials intimidated people. Because they have a powerful tool that we don't understand. And that powerful tool is called TikTok. They've already started changing the world. They did this a couple of years ago, changed the world through the power of TikTok with 2 words. Free Britney. Anybody remember that movement? Free Britney Spears? And the Gen Zs heard one thing about Britney and they were like, let's free Britney. And they're like crying and everything. They didn't ask us our opinion. Right? Millennials, older, we totally would have been like, I mean, she shaved her head randomly in the 90s. Right? Like, I'm okay with freeing her, but ask us first. Get some context. You know, and it seems like this whole room wanted to free Britney. So, you know, I'm cool with it. I'm just saying, I love lions. I wouldn't want to free one from the zoo, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So that's Gen Zs, Gen X, and then we got baby boomers in the crowd. Round of applause if you're a baby boomer. All right. Don't worry, I'm not going to make fun of you guys tonight because you paid for everybody to be here. That's right. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I think the problem with my generation, it really is us. We're the problem, okay? Because we want to be heroes and we're not. We're not heroes. We're like we think we're doing it on everything. And so I saw this guy, he was my age, he had jeans, holes in the jeans that he had patched up himself. Yeah, I thought they were cool, so I walked up, I said, dude, love your jeans. He said, thanks, they're a rescue. A rescue? What does that mean? What, were they going to euthanize your jeans? Oh, is Sarah McLachlan going to sing while they're in a cage in the back? You're not a hero. And honestly, no, millennials, we're not heroes. We're more like villains in a comic book. We have way too much in common with them because we feel misunderstood by everybody. We're obsessed with animals. We're obsessed with the environment in a creepy way. And we laugh even when we're upset. Like that's Penguin, Ivy, and the Joker all rolled into one. Okay? And villains in a comic book, they don't have real jobs. Millennials, we don't have real jobs. Right? Have you ever asked a millennial what he does for a living? He looks at you like he's hoping you give him the answer. Where's my millennials? You guys are millennials, right? All right, what do you do for a living? You work in the chemical plant. Liar. He's a liar. The chemical plant is his parents' house, and you're doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing. No, I'm joking, Breaking Bad. But the point is, no, good for you. You're the first millennial I've ever seen in a show with an actual answer. What do you do?
I'm a manager at a bank.
Okay, all right, forget it. Manager at a bank. I don't believe you guys, but I'll trust you. Where's my real millennials? The ones that, okay, yes, that's right, with the pink hair. You're a millennial for sure. You and me, we're friends. What do you do for a living? Nothing. That's a good answer. What's your name? Chelsea. Okay, that was a lie. I could tell. I could feel it. Your name's not Chelsea. No, I'm just kidding. Good job, Chelsea. The real answer isn't nothing, right? You and I both know what you do for a living. She's an Uber driver. And it's true, all millennials, we're all Uber drivers. That's what we do. And round of applause if anybody here has ever been an Uber driver. No? You're all waiting for them to pick you up later? Is that what it is? In fact, I'm your Uber driver tonight. So afterwards, I'm like, oh, gotta go. Thanks. I'll take you guys. If you don't know what an Uber is, I'll just answer to you this way. It's where you get into somebody else's car and you judge them. It's the whole point of an Uber. And I used to be an Uber driver because I was a middle child and now feel the need to have my personality rated every 10 to 12 minutes. Did not like it. I didn't like it, but I gotta be honest, now that I'm not an Uber driver, I love judging other Uber drivers. Like, I like to treat each and every Uber driver like a stepdad. Like to be like, hey, you got any snacks? No? My other driver had snacks. You're not my real driver. It's great for the millennials because we all grew up with divorced parents, so that's a good bit. That's a good bit. I grew up with divorced parents. My parents were divorced like by the age of 5, so that's what I thought love was. So like when my sister and I would play house, we would just yell at each other about unreached strings, and the game would always end with me giving her half my stuff. It's good to laugh at. If you don't laugh, I cry. That's the deal with that one. I think it's crazy with Uber and all these things. It's so crazy how we live in a society where we can give a rating to anybody at all whatsoever, right? I just want to start going to people's houses and rating it on TripAdvisor. I want to be like, don't go to my Aunt Karen's house. She has a litter box, but I've never seen a cat. 2 stars, the mysterious Aunt Karen. I think if we could start rating people's conversations, it would help people to stop saying stupid stuff, right? Like, have you ever gone to a store with somebody, you split up, you want to meet back up, so you text them, hey, where are you? And they reply, I'm over here. What kind of an answer is that? Yeah. Like, what? I once went to a grocery store with a buddy of mine named Gen Z, okay? And we split up, I wanted to meet back up, I texted him, hey man, where are you? He replied, he sent me his location via Google Map. You know what pops up? The address to the building I'm in. What does he think it's gonna say, melon aisle? That's what he's supposed to say. He's supposed to say melon aisle. And I think nowadays, especially after COVID, everybody's gotten rude in public, right? Not us, but everybody else. Rude. Have you ever opened the door for a stranger and halfway to the door you realize that they don't deserve it anymore? The only people that I now have patience with are people with kids. Because I have 2 kids now, and like, come on, I don't even apologize for any behavior. And half the behavior's me, and I'm just not even going to apologize for it. And round of applause, anybody have kids? Yes. You guys did not seem excited about that. Who has like 10 kids? Anybody? Anybody have a reality show? No? Just checking. What? Is there a group here? Does somebody have 10 kids? You guys have a lot of kids? It's okay if you do. I don't have to. She's like, no, please. She probably has 15. Do you have 15 kids? You have 6 kids? Well, congratulations. Give it up to her. She's got 6 kids. What was that?
She said she doesn't pull out.
How's your bucket of beer doing? Good? You've had a lot, yeah. You're probably one of the 6 kids. You gotta just chill, man. Chill. I'm coming over here. I don't trust that table. Wow, there's actually a lot of millennials and Gen Zs in here. You guys were liars. This whole table's millennials. Would you guys get a group discount here? It's the only way you can afford to come? Is that true? Or did somebody's parent pay for everybody? Or how did this work? Oh, one person paid for everyone. You paid for the whole group? Wow, you're like the rich friend. What do you work at Walmart? What are you doing here? What do you do for a living? You're a paraprofessional? Oh, you work at an elementary school. Well, that's awesome. Good job. Yeah, we can give a round of applause. That's great. I don't, and I'm glad I don't. No, so my wife and I, we've been married for 6 years. And yes, thank you. Who's been married for like a long time? I always love figuring this out. Round of applause if you've been married more than 20 years. Sorry, I disqualified you guys immediately. You were so excited. There's a 20, okay. Round of applause if you've been married more than 25 years. More than 30 years? Let's just go for it. More than 100 years. Anybody? Okay, so who's been married more than, oh, there's a clap. Who's been married more than 35 years? 35 exactly? Could the other couple beat that?
Nope.
No, 35 years. Give it up for them. That's great. Is it you two right there sitting next to each other? Okay, you don't even have a table. This is how I know. You guys have been married so long, you're like, I'll just be over here. That's it. You guys have been married 35 years. How'd you guys meet? Online dating? A blind date through his cousin 35 years ago. Okay. You kind of look like Bill Murray a little bit, you know? And honestly, I would believe it if Bill Murray was just chilling here, you know? Oh, it's totally good. But congratulations, 35 years. What is your name, sir? What is it? Paul. Paul? No way, my dad's name is Glenn. I'm coming over to you guys now. So, my wife and I, we've been married 6 years. I'm mad at you, Paul, and here's why. You can tell me a lot of things about marriage, and I gotta be honest, I love marriage. I'm obsessed with marriage. All I ever wanted to do was be married. That is true. I was engaged twice before my wife, okay? Don't judge me. This is what happened, okay? But I still didn't know a lot about marriage that I wish you married men would have told me. For example, did you guys know that before I was married, I was right 100% of the time? People used to applaud me for being so right, okay? I used to high-five my friends, kings and queens would parade me down the street because I was so right. Then I got married, I heard a word I'd never heard before. Wrong. Apparently there's some things I've been doing wrong that I didn't know about. Like, for instance, did you guys know that out of the 17 hand towels my wife has hung up in the bathroom, 16 of them are not to be touched? They call them show towels? I've heard of show horses, never heard of show towels. Just coming into my bathroom for a show. I don't like it. Here's another thing I didn't know that apparently happens when you're married, and there's always a few husbands that know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. My wife will always tell me when somebody's coming over, it's my job apparently as the husband to clean the tub. Yeah, there's always somebody that's like, I get it. What's the deal with this? My wife will be like, honey, the Johnsons are coming over, clean the tub. Why? What are the Johnsons planning on doing with my tub? What are they going to do? Like, hey, I'm so excited to play canasta, but first let us take a rub-a-dub in that tubby tub. What are you doing? I was looking at the tub. You know I say that? But I gotta be honest, just recently I went to a rich friend's house. First thing I did, look at his tub. And then I complimented his show towels, so it's crazy. We also have another thing. Before you're married, bachelors, you know, you don't have a style of your house. You probably don't even have a house. When you get married, you have a style. I only want the husbands to answer. Shout the style you think your house is. Yeah, exactly. Your wife has the style, so shout that style. Anybody? Nothing. You guys got nothing, and I heard the women try to whisper it to the guys. Well, here's the style my wife and I have. It's called farmhouse. Have you guys heard of this cult? You know, when I first accepted the idea of our house being a farmhouse style fashion, I thought like she was gonna go to a farm and grab like free things or cheap things. That's what I assumed. Oh no. No, first she goes to Target, which what does Target know about farmers? Couldn't tell you. Then she'll buy a big giant wooden spoon for $60 and hang it on my kitchen wall, and I'm not allowed to use the spoon. And trust me, I asked. I was like, this is gonna be the most epic bowl of cereal. Yeah, I can't use it. And I don't know who this Chip and Joanna are. But if they release one more exclusive throat pillow, I'm gonna sue. I'm over it with this. Everything's so expensive. And you know, here's the thing that I realized with Farmhouse is I realized all it is, this is the secret, okay guys? All it is, they just take an item and they paint it white. That's it. I'm gonna go to my tool shed and I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money. I'm just gonna paint everything white and start selling it. I'll be like, oh, this isn't just a wrench. This is a farmhouse wrench. $60. Tell Chip and Joanna I said hi. It's crazy. And now we have 2 kids, and we are millennial parents. Millennial parenting is very different than any other type of parenting. Allergies are important to us, right? And then the other thing is spankings. Round of applause if you grew up where spankings was a word in your family. Yes. Good for you guys. Millennials, not so much. We're not supposed to. We're not allowed to. Can't do the spankings. So when your kid's acting up in public, this is how it used to be. I didn't grow up with spankings. My wife did. Which, by the way, if anybody's like, ooh, he's talking about his wife a lot. My wife is my co-comedy writer, so if you hate any of the jokes, she's the one that wrote those, okay? So, but what's true about my wife is she grew up with spankings. I didn't grow up with spankings. She grew up with spankings. And apparently, if she started to act up, her mom would just be like, Micah, later. And then that would be it. And then the whole day, like, she's terrified. Okay? So, like, that's the thing. That's not so today. A kid, like, let's just imagine, you know, there's, like, kids all over acting crazy. And they're just, like, slapping strangers, okay? And then the millennial parent is like, Tobert! Get over here, Tobert! Get over here. I have to talk to you. Then he gets there and you have to, it's by law for a millennial, you have to meet them at their eyes, whatever height they are. You can't look down. That's illegal for a millennial. You gotta be, Tobert, look at me. You slapped that random stranger and then throat punched them. And then you took their snacks. Listen, look at me, Tobert, listen. Are you all caught up in your feelings? Are you? Listen, well, when we get home, you're going straight to your feelings corner. That's right. I have to lay down the law. You guys are looking at me like I'm doing that. I'm not doing that, okay? But my son's name is Tobert. And no. I have a 4-year-old son who is just the funniest person I'm afraid to be around. Because you never know what a 4-year-old's gonna say, ever. And it's usually insulting. And he did this to me. I was in the shower at 5 in the morning. Nobody's supposed to be awake at 5 in the morning. I get out of the shower, I'm wearing a towel. My son comes into the bathroom, 5 in the morning, and he goes, ew! And then he left. I didn't see the kid for 3 hours. That was his whole purpose that day, was to destroy my self-esteem. I'm like, man, and he does this, he's just so honest, and he's like such a John Rickles, he just loves roasting people. We were at a restaurant the other day, and he asked the waitress why she's missing a tooth. I mean, come on. I'm like, we all saw it, but we're adults. We ignore all the weird stuff. That's what adults do. You act like it doesn't exist. Some person could come in with like no legs, no arms, no eye, and you're just like, how are you today? But him, he's there, he's like, well, where's that tooth? Can you whistle? Whistle! I'm like, don't demand she whistle. This isn't dinner and a show, you 4-year-old boy. What are you doing? And I mean, seriously, he's crazy Don Rickles. And I think that's what happens when they're like 4 or 5, they say all this crazy stuff, and you decide as a parent subconsciously to put all of your confidence in them. Because you're like, I would never do those things. And so you lose all your confidence in yourself, and then you become like everything about them, right? That's where you get the parents that are like, their whole identity is kind of on the kid, you know. It happens because they're so much more confident than we could ever be, so we do that. And that's why before a kid, you do crazy awesome stuff, whatever. After a kid, you want them to do all the crazy stuff. It changes your life. This is everybody. Nobody's exempt from this. You guys don't have kids, do you? I didn't think so. I could see it all over your face. You didn't need to pay for a babysitter tonight? You're just like living with money, or your parents' money. You're about my age. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a manager at a credit union.
Manager at a credit union. When you guys work at the same bank? I mean, this is the most responsible town I've ever been in. You guys are supposed to give me the dumb answers, not like, I'm a mayor. Okay, whatever. Whatever, you oddly accomplished 26-year-old people. I don't get this place. You know what I do? Barely this, okay? You're over, so accomplished. Okay, here's an example. George Clooney. Who loves George Clooney? Yes, love it. Half the room hates George Clooney, apparently. George Clooney has been an A-lister for over 3 decades. He was sexiest man alive 3 times. That's hard to accomplish. He won Oscars. He was a doctor in ER. he was able to be in a really bad Batman movie and still be popular. Okay, that man has accomplished so much. Then he gets married, he has kids. His kids are 7 years old. Do you know what George Clooney does now? Coffee commercials. He does coffee commercials, people. His confidence is gone. It's completely shot. Because one of his kids were like, Dad, you have a belly. He's like, that's it, cancel the movie. I'm doing espresso. From this point on, here's the opposite. This guy, his name, Mickey Mouse. 100 years old. Whether you like him or you hate him, he's won tons of awards, millions of dollars, has property all over the world. No kids. It's a new bit, so I don't care what you think about it. Oh, man. My wife and I, so we had the 4-year-old, but we just had a baby, you guys. Thank you. I did all the work. Obviously. No, she's 6 months old now, and it was kind of crazy because our son, we adopted our son. We were very passionate about adoption. A lot of people in our family are adopted, and we wanted to adopt first. And then after our son, somehow she became pregnant. I still don't know how. And, no, I know how, I think. Anyway, I didn't know this, but husbands, when you're an expected father, you can gain just as much weight as the expected mother. And obviously, you can't compare yourself to her, right? You can't be like, wow, I'm as big as you, honey. You don't want to say those things. And be like, wow, you look great, because she's snacking on whatever, and then you're like, all right, I'll eat some. Well, my thing is, I gained so much weight while she was pregnant, and it wasn't just because she wanted to snack on everything. It was because I've always wanted to try the things that she wanted. My whole life, I'm an overeater. That's what I struggle with. I'm open about it. And so she would call me and she'd be like, honey, on your way home, can you please pick up chicken nuggets, fries, and ice cream? I want to eat them all at the same time. And I'm like, babe, I have been thinking about that all day long. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to eat a bunch, and if there's any left over, you can have some, okay? So I gained all this weight, and then I decided I had to lose weight, so I did a very millennial thing. I went on Audible. Anybody have Audible? Basically, Audible is this way to tell people you're reading books, but you're really not. You pretend like you're reading books, but it's really some other dude that's reading the book and you're just listening to it. And I picked this overeating book. This is true, you guys, and you're one of only 5 shows that I've ever shared this with, so don't tell anybody. I picked this audiobook about overeating, had thousands of reviews. I was like, boom, I'm going to listen to it. So while I'm on the road doing shows, I'm listening. And it's really good. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. I get to the end of the book, and it's this lady with this cool voice, and at the end she goes, and this is why I wrote this book for strong Christian women. I was like, I'm sorry, what? How did I not see that coming? I'm Bruce Willis in Sixth Sense. Hold on, I should have saw the signs from the very beginning all the way through, because the whole book she would say stuff like, have you ever taken your ponytail out and then got on the scale? And I'm like, yes, actually. I have done that quite a bit. She'd be like, do you watch soap operas and eat a whole bunch of bonbons? I'm like, you know me, lady! Crazy! And then the crazier part is, so my wife and I, my family, we moved to Chicago from the West. We live in Arizona. Shout out, any Arizonians? No? Okay, cool. Great, you're not missing out. Here's the thing in Arizona. In Chicago I love because you get all this unhealthy food and everybody forces you to eat it and you're like, yes, this is great. In Arizona, everybody's so heart healthy, it's disgusting. And I noticed it when I went to a movie theater in Scottsdale, Arizona for the first time, and I watched somebody order a small popcorn. I didn't even know small was a size. I'm originally from Ohio, okay? In Ohio, the movie theater isn't even about the movies. It's about the food. We have hoses of butter we spray on the kids before the movie starts. Everybody's slippery, but we're happy. And sure, in Ohio, we do have popcorn size small, but it ends in the word bucket. We have a small bucket, large bucket. Where's my accountability partner bucket? And then we have a family bucket, which is really just a wheelbarrow of popcorn in your own personal butter hose. And then, I don't know, that wasn't enough for us growing up. I don't know if anybody's parent ever did this growing up, but my mom would always go, "Oh, we're going to the movies? I'll get my baby purse." Right, like the moment the movie started, it was a scene from Mary Poppins. She's pulling everything out of that bag. She's like, "Oh, we got Snickers, Snickerdoodles, Kit Kats, M&M's, Gobstoppers. Oh, who ordered the Chinese food?" I did. And the best part of the movies is you can eat like a pig, right? It's in the dark, nobody's looking, you don't even need utensils for things. You're just stuffing it all. And you know at the end you're gonna get up like you're an innocent person. You know all the crap is on the ground. And you're like, "Oh, I had a little bit of food." Meanwhile, you're making some 14-year-old workers suffer at the end of the night. It's just like, who ate the meat? And why did they do it like a feeding trough? That's what it always looks like. We're all guilty of it. What was my point of saying that? Anybody know? Felt like I was talking about something completely different. So my wife and I had a baby, and when we found out she was pregnant, I had to do a show to the Amish. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, they were just Amish. And I don't even know how they contacted me. I'm like, how'd you get this email? Who? It's actually a carrier pigeon, yeah. And I was like, good for you guys. And so my wife and I find out she's pregnant. It was like such exciting news, and we make this deal. We're like, obviously, we're not going to tell anybody yet. You know, we got to wait, we got to plan it out, we got to whatever. We're not going to tell anybody that you're pregnant. I was like, deal. Then I get to this Amish show, and it's like 300 Amish people. And as I'm doing the jokes, I just look around and I go, "Hey guys, guess what? We just found out today that my wife's pregnant." And they all go into like an Amish applause, which is less exciting than a regular applause. It is true, don't, you know. Anyway, if you're Amish, I'm so sorry. Are you Amish too? I mean, it makes sense with all the kids, I guess. Okay, because you guys are like, woo. So anyway, I announce it. I say, listen, my wife is pregnant. We just found out today. And they look at me and I say, yeah, you guys are Amish. Who are you going to tell? Yeah, to which they were like, I kind of get it. And they didn't tell a soul. It was the best kept secret with 300 people. Like, to this day, I think they still are waiting for news, you know? I think I need to contact them and be like, listen, tell Jedediah, we had the baby, it's fine. Everything's good. She's 6 months old, which is just great. And my wife, so this is interesting. My wife is mixed. My daughter is mixed, obviously. And my son is Asian and Hispanic. So I am the whitest person in my family. So, like, when we watch a Medea movie, they all turn and try to explain stuff to me. Even my 6-month-old is like, did you get that joke, Dad? I'm like, what? How can you even talk? You cute little lady? It's crazy. My son, who's 4, he's already planning his 16th birthday. He's like, I don't want a car for my 16th birthday. I want your credit points. I'm like, I'm only white by name, okay? Chris Wineland is pretty white, but that's all I got. I don't got any credit. I'm a comedian. I have no credit. Best I can give him is a gig. I could probably give him a gig, and when he's old enough. But anyway, what What time is it? Because my everything died on me.
9/11.
Well, way to dampen the road there, lady. I mean, you could have said almost 9:12. You could have done that. You could have said it just was 9:10. We would have been fine. You gotta bring everybody back. We're here to laugh, lady. Okay. It's not your fault. You work at a bank. Yeah, okay, so my generation, we'll go here. Too much Red Bull. We have phrases. And there's Gen Zs, you guys have some phrases too. Gen Xers, what's a phrase you can think of you used to say when you would go roller skating in the 80s? What? It was a joke. What did you used to say? All I know is Stranger Things. Okay, guys, what? Somebody help me. Awesome. Okay, that's just a word though now. But I appreciate it. Awesome. Any other phrases? Totally. Cat's pajamas. I think we should ask a different table, right? I know you guys don't want to talk over here, but can somebody shout their phrase they said when they were a teenager? Rad? Stoked. I like that.
Give me a beer.
Get me a beer. That's a good one when you're a teenager. You know what's kind of crazy? It's a quick side note. When I was 21, I've been doing stand-up comedy since I was 18. And I actually I started at 18 and I did 200 shows my first year because I was just hooked. I had no money, I had no plans, nothing. And by year 2, I was writing for Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and then by year 3, I was able to tour and do all that kind of stuff. And I remember being that age and just being like, you know what, I was okay with sleeping in my car when I needed to, I was okay with all that stuff because I realized I loved it so much that I wasn't afraid of worst case scenarios. That's when I realized that love overcomes fear all day, every day, right? Then I got married. And I realized that sometimes love and fear kind of go together. My wife wrote that joke. No, I point that out because when I was 21, I had never had a beer before, okay? I'll be honest with you, I had a lot of tequila when I was 14 and I don't remember it. But I never had a beer. And so I was 21 and I waited, I was doing all these clubs and I didn't want a beer until it was like legal because I wanted it to be like a cool thing. And so I was 21 and this guy comes up to me and he's like, hey man, let me get you a beer after this show, like that was hilarious, let me get you a beer. And he goes, what do you want? And all I knew were Budweiser commercials. And at the time, there was this commercial that was like, get me a Bud. And so he goes, what do you want? And I said, get me a Bud. And I had it, and I was like, I don't need another Bud. And then now, it's like my favorite beer. It's so good. So, I see some Budweiser, some Coors Light people. What else you got? Anybody else? Mick Ultra. You guys are allowed to talk when I ask, okay? It's the only time. It's the only time. No, that's good. That wasn't even a joke. It was just true. Can I try something out tonight? Is that okay? If you hate me, you can't hate me, okay? All right, so it's going to start crazy. It's going to start off crazy, but you'll like it at the end, I think. Okay, so I'm a Christian, okay? Thank you. I say that, the only reason I say that is so that half the room's uncomfortable. And then we figure out that the other half of the room is Baptist. And if it makes you feel too weird, I'm cool with having a beer, because I like beer. And see, now I made the Baptist uncomfortable. And which is kind of a funny thing, because, alcohol is always kind of weird amongst the Christian, community. And the only reason that's crazy is because there's a lot of history with alcohol and Christians, because it was like Jesus' first miracle, right? Turning water into wine. But Christians love to ignore that part. We like to be like, yeah, he did everything, and then we just kind of ignore that one little thing he did. I call that his Kanye movement. It's this one Kanye thing. You know, because we Christians, man, we love Kanye. So we always overlook when he does the weird stuff. Like the anti-Semitic tweets, you know? We're like, well, he loves Jesus, and Jesus is Jewish, so he loves Jewish people. See how we connected it? Right? But at the same time, then if somebody's a Christian and they have a drink, then the others are like, I don't even think you're a Christian. Kanye is, but not you. Definitely not. Have you ever seen, this could be all of us, Christians that don't drink, they're smug sometimes, right? You ever see it? They're like sipping on their Pepsi, looking at you with your margarita. And they're like, what is that called? What's that called? A margarita? Never even heard of it. Nah. Never had it. Never even thought of it. Really? Well, you're the one who brought it up. Okay. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I'll make it better for the ones that are like, what the heck? I went to Bible school. We're making it weirder. Here we go. When I got there, everybody tried to freak me out, or all of us out, about drinking. Because they told the coolest story, the funniest story that lives rent-free in my head. Okay? The story is this. They said that there is a man in the Bible Belt who was a secret alcoholic. And what he did was he would buy all of these vanilla extracts. Because they're like 45% alcohol, vanilla extract. He'd buy them at Walmart and drink bottles and bottles every day, and then he'd die. And then they looked at us and they said, see the lesson? Don't drink alcohol. And I'm like, actually, I think the lesson here is don't drink vanilla extract. You know, that's 45% alcohol a bottle, whereas a beer is 5% alcohol. I think, and I don't want to look into it too much, but I think this man could have saved his own life if he just would have had a beer, okay? All right, now we'll get to the comfortable stuff again, okay? Thanks for letting me try that. You're all going to hate me now. Here's the thing, phrases. I heard totally, I heard awesome. Any other phrases? I heard radical, rad. We have phrases amongst the millennial community. It's amazing. There's this new phrase going around. It's called, that's ghetto. You guys hear that phrase? That's ghetto? And we say it especially when it's never ghetto. Like I was at a coffee shop, and somebody in front of me goes, you guys don't have oat milk? That's ghetto. No, that's not ghetto, okay? I'll tell you what is ghetto. You still live in your parents' basement, okay? That's ghetto. And then we have this other phrase that we say all the time, and the phrase is, I'm not even mad about that, blank, whatever it is. I'm just upset that you lied to me about it. Millennials have said it, I've said it. I'll give you an example. When I was 19 years old, I went to, I needed to get a routine surgery, so I went to the hospital for a routine surgery. There were complications, and I died. Thank you for laughing at that, weirdos. It's true, there were complications, and I died. I said that at a club one time, and somebody shouted back, did you come back to life? Nope. Nope, still dead. But I died, and according to the medical report, I was dead for 36 minutes. That's true, according to the medical report, 36 minutes. If I would have reached 40 minutes, the whole surgery would have been free. Hospitals and pizza places, same deal, same deal. And so here's the deal. It turns out I died from the third cause of death in the United States, which is doctors messing up. It's true. But we don't know that that's actually the third cause of death because there's a long medical term for it to cover it up. It's something like weed-messed-up-itis or something. So when it happens, the doctor's like, I'm so sorry, but so-and-so passed away from weed-messed-up-itis. And then they're like, oh no. Will I ever get weed-messed-up-itis? And they're like, well, maybe. If I'm your doctor, there's a good chance. And so that's what I died from. First cause of death in the U.S. is heart disease. Second is cancer. Third is what I died from, which is oopsie. And when it happens, happened, I knew something was gonna happen, because when I went into the hospital, I had that same feeling that you have when you fly Spirit Airlines. You know that feeling? You know, you get on the plane and you're like, I may not make it out of here. You know they call that airline Spirit because at any point you might become one, okay? It could happen. You know, you always do Spirit Airlines because you think it's cheap, you know? And you're like, oh, hey, it's only like $15 for the seat, but then you forget they charge you for everything else. It's like $25 a bag, $75 for the pilot. It's like ridiculous. So anyway, this is what happened. So I went in, complications, I died, boom. They didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, they brought me back after like such a long period of time. Now, I always get 2 questions after, so I'll answer them right now. First question people always ask me is like, whoa, did you see anything? You know, you were dead, did you see anything? And I didn't. I didn't see anything. I mean, I saw flames. I don't know what that means, but... I'm just kidding, but I told my mom that and she freaked out. Like, you're going to church forever. Second question I always get is people say, 36 minutes, wow. You'd think you got brain damage. You'd think I had brain damage. I don't have any brain damage. You'd think I had brain damage. And then I always get this question, people would say, wow, 36 minutes, you'd think you'd have brain damage. You'd think I had brain damage. I don't have any brain damage. Anyway, I also get this question, people are like, wow, 36 minutes, you'd think you have brain damage. Could you imagine if I did that for an hour? You guys are like, I think you have the brain damage. For sure. Can't remember if you said it or not. No, I did. So basically, come back to life, and the doctor, they don't tell my parents this whole situation. And the crazy thing is that like we figured this out. My mom was, it's such a long story for another time, but my mom was actually praying in the chapel because I didn't like her at the time, and we weren't talking. So the true fact. And if you ever go to the hospital and you say, hey, I don't want to talk to so-and-so, they like take it seriously. So if anybody's ever running from anyone, it's like, just go to the hospital. That's the point of that. Anyway, come back to life. It's like a miracle, super cool, all that. The doctors lied to my family, though, and they said that I was gone for 3 minutes and I'm allergic to anesthesia. Thanks for laughing at that, weirdos. So fast forward, many years later, I'm telling to the doctor what they said to me, my family doctor. My family doctor says, you know, this sounds interesting. It doesn't sound like anything that you were saying makes sense. So why don't we get a medical report, and I'll read it to you, and we'll figure it out. I said, okay, great. So she reads the medical report to me, and she said, okay, here's the deal. You weren't dead for 3 minutes. You were dead for 36 minutes, according to this report. They gave you 5 different types of anesthesia, 4 of which is lethal. It's a miracle you're alive. And at that point, I said the most millennial thing I've ever said in my life. I said, you know, I'm not even upset that he killed me. I'm just upset that he lied to me about it. Hey, thank you guys so much. Get your fireworks. Make it happen. Thank you. Thank you. I thought somebody was going to come up. Nobody did, so. Now I'm going to leave. All right, thank you guys so much.
Good job, Mr. Chris. Wineland, guys. Overtime, Carl Sobel.